Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz, coming to you from Star Nations Radio Network, and you are watching. I'm going to show you what you're watching. You're welcome to Star Nations Communications from Home. This is a weekly show, and I usually have a guest with me about 90% of the time, and most of my guests have been those people who are contributing writers for our magazine and or radio show hosts to all the shows that we have on Be Live TV, and that's who powers our live stream videos and our shows. So welcome. And I have to say that winter has finally arrived in Tomah, Wisconsin. Yeah, it has. It was 10 degrees when I got up this morning. That's flipping cold. Even for me, I grew up here. So I'm used to the weather. But this morning, it really, really was cold. Really cold. And so I'm just kind of waiting a little bit for a few people to show up in the chat room, and then we'll get the show started. One of the things that we're doing here at Star Nations is we are, doing our Facebook Live shows. It used to be internet radio, and we switched over to Facebook Live. And even when we were on internet radio, whenever there was a Mercury retrograde, we always had some effect from it. I wouldn't necessarily always say that it was a negative effect, but we knew it was there. And we have a saying here is that we accept all of the benefits and gifts of the Mercury retrograde, right? And we let everything else go. And so that's what we're doing tonight, is that we're accepting and embracing all of the gifts of the Mercury retrograde. And because of that, my guest tonight, we're kind of doing a little bit of a redo. Because the last time she was on, we had audio issues on my part. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was in the summertime. And so tonight I have with me the host and the contributing writer, Meg Annutto. And she is the host of Discovering Infinite Grace. And that is also the name and title of her section or column in Star Nations magazine. And when we planned this, honestly, I didn't look at the calendar. And so tonight, if there was any Mercury retrograde stuff going on, and sure enough, and guess what? We have a little bit of an audio issue. So we're going to cross our fingers. We've said prayers, and we're going to just keep going. And we're going to have some fun, and you're going to meet Meg in just a second. Because what I'd like you to do for me, if you wouldn't mind, is if you could please like and share the show. Because what happens is that we get busy and we forget that we are going to watch the show. And so if you could do that for me. And for those people who are in the chat room, if you could do this and share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, that would really be good. Because right now my phone is kind of in use, and usually I would do that. But it's kind of being used right now. And so I can't really take the time to try to figure out how to do that all at the same time. You probably can, but I'm techie, but I'm not that techie. All right, let me tell you a little bit about my guest. Number one, I love her to death. I mean, she is one of the most loving people I know, and she has the biggest sense of humor, and she has me cracking up all the time. And she kind of had, for me, it's kind of a dry sense of humor, and we grew up right around the same time frame, and so there's all these jokes about the 70s and flashback shows, and so we have a good time usually when we're just kind of hanging out. So Meg Annutto, I'm going to read you her bio that we use in the magazine, because I think that you'll get to know her a little bit from that. Meg Annutto lives with her family in southern New Hampshire, where she is the owner of Infinite Grace. Her lifelong passion and interest in the complementary practices of alternative medicine led her to the first become a licensed massage therapist. Now, a lot of you probably don't know that she is a licensed massage therapist. Got to slow down, enunciate, right? Recognizing the importance of further understanding the mind, body, and spirit connection, Meg acquired a variety of certifications as practitioner and master teacher in the field of energy medicine and metaphysics. This lady has studied a lot, and she has a really strong background in metaphysics and energy medicine. She is currently the host of the monthly show on the last Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Star Nations Radio Network, and it's called Discovering Infinite Grace. And with that, I'd like you to welcome to the show with me, Meg Annutto. Hi, Meg.
Hi, Neshi. How are you? I hope everybody can hear me. And
go ahead.
We're going to cross our fingers. Thanks for the nice introduction there. That was very nice. Thank you.
You know, doesn't it kind of, whenever somebody does my introduction, I think, oh my God, I've done all that?
I know. That's what I was thinking. Did I do that? Yeah. Yeah. And how long it's been, and the things that, how it transponds into years of building upon one thing after another.
Right. And, is taking that education, mm-hmm. and we're building on it. But how I see it is that we're building it upon our gifts that we came in with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like, so I can express my gifts through that education.
Yes.
And yeah. And so I have a question for you.
Sure.
When you named your show and your business, Infinite Grace and Discovering Infinite Grace, what was your impetus from it? Why that? Why that?
Okay. Well, at first, when I was going to name it, I was actually going to name it The Practical Mystic. And at the time, 2 years ago now that I started here, it was a little uncomfortable fit for me, meaning I wasn't sure if I could hold the energy of that.
Mm.
And for me, how I look at things is that I'll forever be a student, always learning, always upgrading what I thought yesterday, because it always changes today. And I know that tomorrow it will be even that more growth for me. And so I guess when I decided, who am I really? Where is the energy? What can I really hold authentically? And that is, I'm constantly discovering the field of grace around me. A lot of the healing modalities and absolutely the Akashic records is about the field of grace, is about that, field of finding the miracle within my own relationship with divine source. And so that's how it came about, because every day I discover, in my articles, in my teaching, when I teach others in my metaphysical classes, it's about how I discover and allowing them to discover, on their own.
Yeah. And I think that as you describe that, you're also describing, I think, your definition of grace. Yeah.
Yes.
And so if we just look at
its simplest form.
In its simplest forms. Yeah. And I think that is one of the reasons why people are drawn to your radio show and to your articles, is because it is grace at its simplest form. And that you actually, especially in your last article for us in the December issue, it really, and I have a picture of it, and we're going to bring it up in just a second. I think that the way that you brought in a subject that is challenging for some people because they don't want to say it out loud,
Right.
and you did for them, and then you talked about that, and our audience, what she's talking about in her article in the December issue is about not really having the traditional feeling of Christmas.
Right.
Right? And we have some people in the chat room I just want to say hi to before we get rolling here.
Sure.
Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Judy. Hello, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hello, Judy. And we also have with us, let's see, Julie Hedges.
Hey, Julie.
And look what she did for us. She shared it to the radio group. Thank you so much for doing that, Julie. We appreciate that. And I'm glad that everybody can hear us because Julie also says, sounds good. Yay! we have been working on this for a few days, yes. Several hours at this.
And we won.
And we won! Yay! We got it to work. We got it to work. And Marianne, hello, Marianne. Thank you so much.
Marianne, yeah.
Hi, beautiful souls. Thank you so much. And I want to show people your a couple of things here. There is something here that maybe not a lot of people have seen yet, and this is one of the promotions that Lily put together. She put together a whole bunch of them for the radio show hosts, and to be able to use to promote their shows. And you know why I like this one? Well, there's nature there for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she put you right in the middle of it. And for me, that is also a definition of grace.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Lily did such a good job at that. And there it is. Mm-hmm. Chasing Ebenezer. And everybody, we're referring to Ebenezer Scrooge. And
that good picture.
Yes, I could not. I was thanking my lucky stars. I was thanking my spiritual team because I said we need to find a really good picture.
Everybody
for Meg's article. Yes,
everybody knows that picture. Yeah,
yeah. So if you could tell us a little bit about that article, because as the editor and seeing the contributing writers' articles multiple times before we actually publish, there was something different about this particular article for you, and how your voice sounded in it, right? Would you like to share some of that?
Yeah, so you know how like when we get our themes of what we're going to write about in the month, and I'm sure I'm no different than the rest of the people that write for, they go through a similar process where they start thinking about what they want to write, but difference in spiritual magazines is we actually meditate and pray on it, and we're writing for not only ourselves, but we're asking for the highest good, the highest lesson for ourselves, and how we can convey and express our soul's expression about a certain subject, right, or that has meaning to us. So it's always a unique take, but a very familiar process that, we all do in the magazine. So when I started, I had been struggling. Last year I missed Christmas because my son was in a car accident and we were moving and we were living in a hotel. And so I really didn't think a whole lot about Christmas. Last Christmas, I was truly just surviving Christmas. And so when this time came around, I had a lot to be thankful. Our house was settled by the end of the summer, and my son was back to college, and relative to everything, in all intents and purposes, I should be really happy, right? I certainly wasn't, and I was cognitively realizing that, but I did feel this deep sadness. I, would constantly play the one song, Where Are You Christmas? Why Can't I Find You? And in that melody, I could feel the tug in my heart, but I didn't know exactly why I wasn't being happy like everybody else, or even welcoming in. I kind of just would have been happy if it just passed on by and I could have, hit January, February, and I would be okay. I guess what I realized was I was starting to feel the collective whole, and feeling the dark parts of me come out in that, because everything in the collective whole is residing in me. And it put me in touch with just a lot of sadness and, geez, are we going to make it out of this huge test that we're feeling? Am I going to survive feeling the muck as an empath? What does that mean? And how do I find my light in all that? Being a spiritual teacher, being a spiritual writer, giving spiritual readings when people are coming to me, what was happening? I was feeling a little like, uh-oh. And so I just worked with it, and it was a real process. It probably took me 2 or 3 weeks where I would be writing and working through things, praying, meditating on it, looking at it, and at one point even called you and said, hey, should I even be like, this is Christmas. This is like a little on the morose side. I love the nativity. I love celebrating Jesus and Mary, and I love pointing to that to people because it's been such a great source of light for me, and in my journey and who I am from birth. And you reassured me it's okay. Continue with it, and so that's how it came about. But it brought great healing for me, and it also brought me great insight that maybe I wasn't alone.
Right.
And I wasn't afraid to say it out loud, for fear of people thinking, I'm as Saturday Night Live would say, Debbie Downer, or, just
right.
not well or stable, you name it, right? Or life just got the best of this girl, her life is over, go hide in a cave. And so it took a lot of courage for me to really write it, but I also knew that I wanted to be authentic with it and to discover the grace within what I was feeling, because I knew it would help me. Like I knew if I took it on as a focus, that eventually as I work through the process, that I know many people when they're writing, they have a realization, an epiphany or grace comes flowing in.
Exactly. When we connect with our spiritual team, our spiritual helpers, and because our magazine has a global audience, we're writing and expressing things for a lot of people. And I have to tell you, Meg, I was so happy that you went through with it. I was so proud. I was going, yay, because as empaths, sometimes when we block and try to shut things out, sometimes it's harder for us. It takes more energy to do that than to help to express it and to release it and to let it go.
Yeah.
And I think that because you expressed it, you helped a lot of people not to suppress it.
Right. I think it was having the courage to not be silent about it. And then that allowed the energy to flow through me, but also, allowed other people to say, yeah, I'm dealing with the same thing. And then I realized, 1, I wasn't alone. 2, I didn't really have to carry any shame just because I wasn't, I didn't have like a reason, like a grief or a breakup in my marriage or something around the holidays. I didn't have a real reason that everybody, would look at and go, oh, I see why she's, bah humbug. No, I, in all intents and purposes, is living, a very happy life.
Right.
And it just didn't make sense what wasn't congruent for me. But I do believe as an empath, and not really recognizing how empathic I was, and going through certain things in my life and working through those, that was pretty overwhelming, the empathic part of it. But it gave me the greatest map to know what I wanted to pray for.
Right.
And it gave me a great understanding, of the collective whole, knowing that if I could pull myself out of the nosedive, and what I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would do my part in the collective whole.
Right, right. You know, and as people who express that in that way, that's what I meant about, you know, you were able to help a lot of people maybe express that something that they may not have
Mm-hmm.
done. And just in the writing of it, I know that it helped you to be okay with feeling this way and knowing that it's something that you picked up from the collective, from all of us, right?
And that also like stirred in me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And stirred up in me. Yeah.
Right. We have to
Yeah.
say hi to somebody here.
Okay.
Alexander.
Hi, Alex. How are you? Nice for you to tune in, buddy.
Yeah, yeah,
Good to see you.
yeah. You know, every time I see the New Hampshire contingency, I always think of a couple years ago when you gifted so many people drums, and I made all those drums that Christmas for you. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just looked at the picture the other day of all of them, all the
Yeah.
drums. Yeah, gives me a good
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of my friend Jama, she's even contacted you this year. I'd given her a drum, and then she's, you know, putting on the tradition of giving them to people that somebody, you know, I mean, they're beautiful. They're really
Yeah.
great drums.
Yeah.
And they're
One of
very
these days,
sacred.
I'm going to make my way over to New Hampshire, and
Yes, that would be
we're going to bring our
awesome.
drums, and we're going to do a drum circle together. You know,
Yeah, yeah, and even like hold a class because I know there's plenty of people that would love to learn how
Sure.
you know. I only got to feel what it was like for you to birth a drum for me, and I love my drum, but to sit and see how it's done would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one
Hi,
of these days.
Jocelyn.
Yeah, one of
Okay.
these days it'll
I'm
happen.
holding you to that. I'm holding you to that.
That's okay, because
Okay.
I want you to, because I'm going to be there.
Okay. All right.
Got to check the time here.
Yep.
All right, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about your radio show, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because on the radio show, we all, every single one of us, when we came over from the internet radio to Facebook Live streaming, would be live. It was an adjustment, right? And what I found is that a lot of the people who listened to us through the radio did follow us here. And there's so many more people that didn't even know we were out there are now with us, right? And what I found is that when people can actually see us and we're talking to them and we're having this conversation, they're a part of it in the chat room, and it changes the energy because people are actually, you know, they're feeling us, right? And so as a radio show host, and you're bringing through the frequency of grace through your shows, as a radio show host, how do you feel about connecting with a bigger audience to be able to have a larger platform to do that?
Well, I think it's fun. Like I remember on the radio, you know, as you spoke and you went out, you had to imagine where you were going. Here, doing these Facebook Live, it's a little bit different because you have like a little closed group and you can almost feel like you're cocooned in that. And then however it webs from there, but for me, it's been okay. I mean, it's just, I think what it's also taught me is just to be myself. That even though you're seeing a bigger audience or whatever, that I will connect if as long as I just stay within that who I am, and that's discovering infinite grace all the time. You know what I mean? And stay in that field of grace, and that'll be okay. I mean, it can be intimidating at first, no doubt. I'm not going to lie, because you want to do a good job. You want to reach people and have them have a positive experience. So you do think about that often, but then I just always tell myself, you know, do my best, and by the grace of God, let Him take care of the best. So,
Right. And see, what I love about your shows is that you bring to us a lot of really good information. You can tell that you researched it, whatever the topic is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you give credit where credit's due with all the information
Mm-hmm.
that you bring to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you distill it down to that grace piece. How do we
Mm-hmm.
use it? Why do we use it? Why is it
Mm-hmm.
important for us to know it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we can't, grace is always around us. It's happening to us all the time. And so the important part and why I bring it down is to open your awareness so that you can navigate through it and elevate yourself to a place of joy or peace, letting go of fear, letting go of your resistance, letting go of your judgments, so that you can feel the grace. It's always going to be there no matter what, even in the times when you can't feel it or see it. It's always present, and it's always working through us, around us, through other people. But the gift of grace, or by the grace of God, when they say that, is about us having the awareness. And that's the part of me discovering it, is how I use the vehicle of awareness to discover it. And the beauty in everything, everything just, it's technicolor at that point, it's very colorful.
Yeah.
Without that awareness, everything is a little grayer, and, good and bad times. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, all I can say is that I am really, from my heart, happy and glad that you're with us. I'm part of our Star Nations family, because you bring the energy that you bring into this, not just your sense of humor, but it's how you bring across the information. And you are our Akashic Records expert. You are our technical person for that. And I want people to know how do they get a hold of you if they want to have their Akashic Records read, or to do healing through it. Maybe some people might not even know what the Akashic Records are. If they're just getting on their path, and they're just getting woken up, and they're consciously living their life. Maybe we need to let them know. If you could just give us a brief explanation of what Akashic Records are and how can they help us.
So it's a consciousness, okay? It's a very high vibrational consciousness, and it holds the record of, each person has their own records. Every living place, thing, history, everything holds some type of Akashic recording. And it's your thoughts, actions, beliefs, behaviors from your soul's inception. The records and the way that I use is through a prayer, which was developed by Linda Howe. And in that, everybody has their story. And within the story, what I do is listen to the story, like whatever situation you have. And when I'm present in your records, then the masters, teachers, and loved ones of your records help bring to light. And it's always from a place of love. And of course, this is what happens in your life. And of course, this is why this happened. But to help people realize that everything that is in their story is for the better of them, for the love of them, and for them to discover the love in themselves and their purpose and their beautiful soul and their spark. And it's beautiful because when you're out of the records, you meet them on some certain level. But when you're in the records, it's through God's eyes. And it's a totally different, and it's a beautiful place to be. And what's nice is I gain insight through the beautiful stories that are shared with me even to help my own life. So as I'm giving a reading, I'm actually gaining insight about judgment, about resistance, and about not fearing so much. So it's a very healing, it's like a conversation. And it's about you getting a chance to tell your story and to see how your story is validated through the eyes of God in a very loving and protective and very insightful and wisdom way. Yeah. It's all divinely guided.
And so if someone, for instance, wanted to heal an aspect of themselves, let's say that they've been working on an issue for some time, how could the Akashic Records help them to facilitate that healing?
So what it helps to do is it will help pick up patterns. It'll help pick up patterns of beliefs. And it also, in some cases, if there are past lives, those that believe in them, it will bring that in. But you don't have to believe in past lives because, the records will give the information because it's for that soul's purpose. It's for that soul's good, the highest good for that soul. And the information doesn't come from my advice or what I think about in life because once you're in those records, you don't have resistance, you don't have judgment as a reader, all right? And so it would look at patterns, it would look at beliefs that you believe in yourself, or there might be lessons and there might be soul growth in there that you may not be aware of. Every sacred wound is an opportunity to see the light that resides in you. So it's looking at things at a higher vibration and not so much personal as it is more, a lot of things we think very personal, that God is personal when things go bad in our life, that old thing of, good, bad judgment thing. And it's really not that way. And so looking at it from a different altitude, the altitude of grace, basically, that higher vibration.
That's another altitude of grace.
And it changes. So when you have authority over the matrix of that electromagnetic field, sometimes it's not even important that the person gets the full story. If the reader gets the story, the person that's doing that, it will ultimately change so that sometimes that problem, they may go a week from now or whatever, and they may realize they don't have so much resistance towards whatever they were trying to let go, or fear, or judgment against themselves or others in a relationship or whatever. So it happens on it happens on a verbal, right, and a healing consciousness. And if that part of the matrix is to heal because that person gets it on some level, then it will heal. If it's God's will, then it's something you're giving them and helping them to master something about themselves.
Right.
Something that constantly repeats that I'm going to have to, this is in my matrix to have me master, because that's part of my soul makeup. And that the light in the soul is indestructible. So there's the one piece of the soul is not mutable, and then the soul's life and experience, how it goes through the different experiences, that is very movable and,
Right.
And when you heal something when you heal something in the past, this is important, then it heals in the present and then has the ability to heal your future before. So it's really important work. It's really great work.
Yes, it is. It's a great tool. No, it's a great, the Akashic Records is a great tool. And one of the things that it helped me was in the understanding of how things flowed in past lives and how they express themselves that still need to be learned or healed or whatever you want to call it in the present. Because it's reoccurring for a reason, so that we have a chance, like you said, to master it. And for me, it was all in the helping me to understand it. And once I was able to understand it, then I moved through the healing and the lesson with more grace. We have a couple of people in the chat room I want to show. Judy, it says we have to count our blessings in life. We all have them. Just take the time to look for them. That's right. We agree.
Yeah, that's a great way to start when you're in the depths of that place where you're suffering. That if you can look at one thing, it just multitudes once you recognize it.
Yeah, and she shared the show with a lot of her friends. So thank you, Judy, for that. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah,
I did show this a little bit earlier. I didn't know if you saw it, but Jocelyn's with us too. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, Jocelyn. Yes,
joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Jocelyn.
And we also have something else here I saw. I did put up something for you, Meg. I put up your contact information just in case if somebody wanted to contact you for an Akashic reading or for more information. I sent them to your website.
Thank you. And if they want to like my page, Discovering Infinite Grace on Facebook, would be great.
Okay. And we also have a comment from Carla Joe. And Carla Joe is also one of our contributing writers at Star Nation. Mm-hmm. She writes for under the section of Sacred Feminine, under her column, The Eclectic Pagan's Journey. And Carla Jo says, so blessed to be associated with Meg and Neshi through Star Nations. Each of the ladies and gentlemen lift the rest of us up with all that they do. Thank you for allowing to be a part of this family. Well, of course, we love you, Carla Jo.
Yeah, I love Carla Jo. I love reading her articles, and I love when I have the opportunity when she comes on some of the shows just to speak, to listen to her. That's what I love about Star Nations just in general, because I don't know them personally. They're not living in my neighborhood, but after the connection, you just feel like you've known them forever, because everybody's heart is the same. They're very, it's just a great connection. Great place, very soothing place to get good information. And
actually, it's not like we have
Tracy.
I had the purple heart.
She made me laugh today. Her and Nellie on their show. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just love the two of them and their dynamics with one another. Just totally cracked me up.
And then when Tracy, I just had Akashic Records, Julie singing your praises. When Tracy said to Mervyn, she says, because she was talking about the necklace and the healing waters, it's in her necklace. I can do something without you. Yes, I can. I can actually make this necklace all by myself.
I know, it was just from the time they got, and he has that look when he looks at her, and they just crack me up, because there's so much like hidden humor in that, but you learn a lot when you're listening to them. Yep. Yeah, and so it's like Ricky and Lucy. It was just really fun for me. I enjoyed it.
And they were talking about alternate realities today, and that's a tough subject, but let me tell you, they did a really good job.
Oh, hi, Del Marie.
Del Marie is in the house. Hello, Del Marie.
I like her new picture, too, by the way.
I love her. Yeah, she said she looks like a professor. I said she looks distinguished.
Yes.
And Tracy says, so true, it's like a family.
It is. Yeah, it's been the best blessing for me. I'm very appreciative, yes.
She liked the comment, I guess.
Well, she should watch herself back. She would laugh, because it wasn't 2 seconds in and I was laughing so hard because it was just so cute. It was just awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm going to have them back on the show again sometime soon, because just with you, we just scratched the surface, and the half hour's up. In fact, we're over by like 10 minutes. But with them, it was about the Druic side of Mervyn that I wanted to let people know more about and what that means in modern times. And then with Tracy, a lot of people don't know that Tracy does so much. One of the things that I wanted to talk to her about is she does paranormal stuff. I mean, she goes and actually tracks ghosts, and they help to help them to the light. And
I would love to hear about all that. That's so awesome.
That's such compassionate work that she does. And so one of these days we're going to have them back on, and
there's so much we can do, right? We have such great ideas and things, so I hope people catch on and really come to a really great spiritual place to explore it all.
Well, one of the things, because when you guys are doing your shows, you are bringing to our audience spiritual information that's going to help them possibly on their own journey, right? Add a piece to their toolbox and say, you know what, I want to take a deeper look into that, because I'm really interested in that. I heard about that at Star Nations on Meg's show. I want to know more about it. And they'll go out and find a class or read more about it. Because I've been doing this a long time, I know what it's like to prep for a show, right? This particular show, Star Nations Communications from Home, isn't quite that way. Although I do have some shows that that would fall into that category as well. But this show is really about you guys, because I wanted to have our audience get to know you at a deeper level. You know, to know that that you're from New Hampshire, and that yes, you do Akashic record reading, and yes, you know how you express the grace part of what you do, and how you express that in your life, and that's what this show is about. So that you guys don't have to sit there and try to research stuff and you know and do
they
everything.
Can find who speaks to them at the time that they're in need for something, and what shows might be, you know, something that they'd love to try. And I think it's a great way to introduce all of us. It's like a bit, you know, Star Nations reminds me of Joseph in the Technicolor colored coat. We're all like a little patch of something that, you know, and you throw it on, and it's like, you know, it's magic. You know, it's beautiful, beautiful divine magic.
Yeah. And Judy is saying, thank you both for such eye-opener. Well, you're very welcome, Judy. You know, and like I said, you know, if I think you might know this person.
Yep, that is my sister with her incognito Facebook name, because she doesn't want anybody to know who she is. She's So that's a name off the. Her name's not really Puttmeister. My mother didn't name her Puttmeister, but she thought that would be a great way she wouldn't lose her identity theft when she got to Facebook.
Yeah. Well, hello, Meg's older sister.
Yep, nice that's my mommy Sue. Yep, she's the one that helped promote my magic, my magical little eyes. So.
Well, you know what we're going to do, Meg, I'm going to keep you on while I talk a little bit about the magazine, because we just published the December issue of Star Nations magazine. This is issue number 55. Double nickel.
That's such a beautiful. That picture is so peaceful.
Oh my gosh! You know,
so majestic all at once.
Yeah. I had a couple of different pictures that I was thinking about using for the cover, and literally, when I find a picture for the cover, or any one of the articles for that matter, I have this this feeling about it. It literally sings to me, you know. And when I found this one, for me, it represented so much. The winter solstice, that peacefulness, even the hibernation, spiritual hibernation, I think is what Minnie wrote about.
Oh yeah, with Buddha with the snow on it.
Yeah, wasn't it? You know, she took that picture. That's one of her pictures.
That was a great article.
Perfect. Yes. Perfect. But so our magazine is available in digital for Apple and Android mobile devices, so your phones or your tablets. It's also available in print on demand, and we went with print on demand so that we're not wasting paper. And that we're actually loving our tree relatives, right? And you can also get it as a PDF and as a web viewer. And our partners at MagCloud, magcloud.com, they're the ones who do the print on demand, the PDF, and the web viewer for us. And so however you like to read material, the magazine is available to you in that. And I will put the links if you'd like to order a copy, or, you know, if you're going to order a copy for a present for somebody, you might want to do that in the next day or two, because it could take up to 7 to 10 days for the print copy to come to you for that. So just in case. But if it's digital, you know, you can do it however you'd like to do it. You can do gift cards at Apple or Google Play Store, and the gift cards, and let your beloved, whoever you're giving the gift to, they can use their gift card to buy the digital magazine. It's $2.99 for the digital, and the print on demand, I think it's $16, I believe. So, Meg, I'm going to put the cover down. Bring us back up. I wanted to thank you for taking the time.
It's a Christmas miracle we got on.
This is going to be such a story. You realize next year, 3 years from now, and you're we're going to be saying, do you remember back in 2017?
Oh, yeah, I did, because I peed a little yesterday in my pants laughing so hard because we were trying so hard to get things with Neshi with her old 1980 camera on her computer. But we'll save that for another time.
No, we can't just leave them hanging. All right. So we were doing all of this testing, and I used my husband's PC laptop. And the camera that comes with that laptop sucks.
It was old.
Oh my God. And the background looked like I was in smoke, you know.
A room full of smoke. A room full of smoke. And it was not going to be good advertising for Star Nation.
No, it wasn't. So then I had to dig out my a Logitech camera that I have, which worked really well. So now at least I have a backup, you know. I know that I can use the other PC and how to get things hooked up and for it to work. Mm-hmm. So good things came out of it. But we have to tell our audience, why isn't this working? And let's try this. And okay, that we can cross that variable off. That's not it.
Yeah, we had four computers between the two of us. And just like every scenario of what could be the problem that we would try. And then Neshi pops up with her old-fashioned camera with all the smoke, and I said, "This is great. Now you look like Cheech and Chong," because she was just like, it was just like all I could think of, and we can't hear one another, so I'm laughing to myself, wanting to tell her what she looks like, but at the time we didn't have audio until I could call her back up on my telephone. So we had 2 telephones, 4 computers, and we jerry-rigged it for tonight. And hey, Mercury in retrograde. Screw you, because we need the power of prayer.
Power of prayer. And Carla Jo does love the PDF at Meg.
Yeah.
She really does.
I do too. I love it too. Yeah. I get both but I love it's so nice to flick through, and then you have the cue card things where Outram and a lot of different people will do meditations and all the little free stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah,
it's really a great magazine.
Yeah,
great work.
Well, Meg, we're gonna have fun again. However, whether it's on me on your show, that'll be a hoot. We'll see how that goes. We'll make sure it's not Mercury retrograde the next time we do something like that.
And we don't have to worry. We now have the backup system, the DEFCON 4 system. We know it works now. So when we go to DEFCON 4, we got it.
Right.
We handled it.
Yeah, and it's only the 2 of us. Everybody else is fine. I know. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you for having me on tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And thank everybody who's watching with us in the chat room, and everybody who's going to be watching the recorded video. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week on Star Nation's Communications from Home. And actually, next week, I'm going to be on at a special date and time. It's not going to be Tuesday night, because I'm working with Paul Krause. He's got a special guest that can only come on Tuesday night with him. So I'm going to move my show up either to the daytime on Tuesday in the afternoon or on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you guys know, because what we're gonna be talking about next week is me with you guys, and we're going to be talking about totems. Totems. Nice. So so I'll make sure you guys all know what day and time it's going to be, because it's going to be just a little bit different. Okay. All right. Thank you, Meg.
Night. Thank you.
Night.
Night.
Night, everybody.